of the topics, the thing I wanted to talk about as we start this week off is routines, habits, and why they're so important to me. There are a million ways to make money trading futures, just a million. But of course, there's 10 million more ways to lose money trading futures. It is important for us to be consistent. It is so very important for us to be consistent traders, to be consistent in our lives. If my life is erratic, my trading will be erratic. If my life is out of balance, so will my trading be. There have been plenty of days where I have made plenty of money when things just aren't right, but I always give it back and then some and a lot more when I'm trading in a unbalanced way, or just when my life is just kind of erratic and inconsistent. Trading demands that we also keep things simple, right? The key to my success as a trader is not more information. I thought for a long time that not for a long time, but I thought for a while it was. After we moved from the trading floor to the square, after I moved from the floor to the screens, I thought that I needed more knowledge. I thought that I needed to have better information, but that wasn't the case. It wasn't better knowledge or more information or a deeper understanding of whatever. Everybody's looking at the same moving averages. Every trader in the world has got the same moving averages. Okay, there are little things that we can do to change it. There are little things that we can do to adjust it. We all have the same MACD, but we can change it and adjust it just a little bit, or the same thing with moving averages, or whatever you want. We're all looking at the same profile. If you're looking at market profile, got the little twist on it that volume profile does, right? Everybody's looking at the same information. What is going to separate you from the trader that is looking at the same stuff, that understands it a great deal? What separates you from them? Everybody's looking at the same stuff. Well, it's you. What separates you from traders that don't make money with the same information is like we talk about a lot, all the time, is that one extra trade that leads to another, that leads to another, that leads to another. I think we've all had the experience in our careers when we are, we just come, we're a little bit later, or a little early, or whatever. It doesn't matter, but we see something, we take it because we know the most important part of any trade, is our outs, not just our where we're wrong. We have to know two things before we take a trade: where our outs are, where I'm going to get out for an expense, not a loss, but an expense, two different things, and where I'm going to get out for a profit. Because remember, there are two parts to every trade: managing risk, managing profit. So to become consistent as a trader, we need to keep things simple. To stay consistent as a trader, we need to keep things simple. It's not more information. It's not more knowledge. It's the ability to be able to be deeply honest with ourselves so that we know where we are. Every morning, I need to make sure that I am confident, carefree, fearless, and focused. And if I'm not confident, carefree, fearless, and focused, then I need to be cognizant of it so that I can cut my size or not trade. My morning routine is how I know that. My morning habits and my morning routine is how I determine whether or not I'm confident, carefree, fearless, and focused. My morning routine is how I determine what size I'm going to come out of the box with. Also, price action and what the overnight markets did and that kind of stuff. There's other factors, but for the most part, it's all going to be about where I am in the day, where I am in my mindset, my spirituality, my emotional life. Right now, with all these health issues that I've been battling, and my wife has been battling, Jen the last week, me the last few months, is this last month, I have not been going through my normal routine. It's been difficult for me to wake up at 4:45 and, pop out of bed, bound out of bed, as they say, and just get at it. I also haven't, I've been too sick to do it. But anyway, the point is, our morning routines is what is going to help us do that. So every morning I wake up at the same time. Every night I go to bed at the same time. I do the same thing day in and day out all the time. Now, I'm not boring. You know, it's not boring to do the same things day in and day out. There's plenty of room for spontaneity. But it's important for me to be consistent in my routines, especially in the morning or during the trading day, so that I am more likely to be consistent in my trading. I mean, that's just the bottom line. I can't just roll out of bed and swish some mouthwash around in my mouth and throw a baseball cap on backwards and flop down in front of the screens and start trading. If I do that, I won't be consistent. If I do that, I just won't be consistent. It's overlooked. That sort of simple, that sort of a simple idea, that sort of a simple principle is just so overlooked in our lives that. All right, I'll go off camera. That sort of simple principle is so overlooked in our lives that it's another reason why so many of us fail. It's another reason why so many traders, 90+% of all traders will fail, including those, the odds are against me. Think about that for a second. The odds are against me. The odds are against every single one of us. I've been that trader with a large net worth that winds up driving Uber, and not only have I been that guy, but I've also seen way too many traders worth 30, 40, $50 million go completely broke. Something changes in their lives. They don't change with it because they are not in possession of themselves. The only way that I know how to do that is the only way that I know how to be in possession of myself is to keep a consistent pattern, a consistent routine that is just going to every morning help me and every day help me judge whether or not I am in the right frame of mind to be trading at all, to increase my size or decrease my size. So that's it. I mean, that's the simple part of it, okay? These small adjustments to becoming consistent and staying consistent, they're really simple. It's not complicated. Unfortunately, the more complicated we make it, because we're human, trading has got to be hard. It's got to be complicated. All of these numbers and charts and graphs and all of this stuff and the other thing. And holy moly, it's got to be. No, it isn't. The more complicated we make it, the less likely it is that you will find consistency, and the even less likely that it is that you will remain consistent. I do the same thing 100 times out of 100. The way that I trade, the way that I make my living trading is not necessarily cool. It's not sexy. It's not going to get anybody, excited until it's not going to make me look good or sound good. I don't use big fancy terminology or big fancy words. I keep things simple so that I can understand it, I can express it, and I can effectively maintain it. Just talking to a trader last week about the difference in personalities that we have. Some of us are more sensitive. Some of us are more introspective naturally. Some of us have a little bit harder time in being, excuse me. Some of us have a little bit harder time in being introspective. We don't need to all be emotive, but we do have to be honest enough with ourselves to be able to determine where we are. What are the obstacles that we're putting in place? What are the obstacles that we're putting in our way? All right. Find a routine, develop a routine, refine it, become consistent with it, and stick to it. Stick to it. The more consistent you are with your routine, the more likely it is that you will be consistent in your trading. It doesn't guarantee anything. There are no guarantees in this business, right? There just aren't. Past results are not indicative of future performance. And that's why it's so important. That disclaimer that everybody says and writes, and it's important that we do. Not just by law, but it's important that we are all reminded, including me, that it doesn't matter how much money I've got or have made. It doesn't matter. The odds are still against me taking it with me when I am done trading for active income. The odds are against me too. Just because I've had success does not mean that I will maintain it, which is why I need to maintain my consistent patterns of living. I do the same thing 100 times out of 100 trading. I do the same thing 100 times out of 100 in my life. And if I don't, I cut my size or I don't trade. As I'm easing way back into this, guys, as I'm easing back into the whole mindset that I need to have as a trader, I am not going to be the market can crash today and I won't be trading much more than 4 lots in the minis, you know, or the market can go parabolic. I'm not going to trade much more than 4 lots in the minis because I'm not ready to. I'm a blue collar trader. I'm going to pick up my lunch bucket, put my blue collar on, and I'm going to go to work. This is not about me taking pictures next to Ferraris and boats and planes and shit. Not that there's anything wrong with owning those things. I have, but not jets or, you know what I mean? That just, you know, but it's not, when I make it about those external things, my internal life is less likely to match. I'll be out of balance. If I'm out of balance, those cars, jets, homes, whatever, you know, are on their way out. Even if I have a $50 million net worth, when I make it about that stuff, I'm already on my way to being broke without even knowing it. That's why it's so important to have a group of traders. It's one of the reasons why it's so important to have a group of traders around us, to have somebody that we're accountable to or a group that we're accountable to. All right, let's talk a little bit about the market. Somebody had asked if we have any targets between 60 something and 80, and you know, yes, the market will give it to us. The opening range will give it to us. If we don't have anything in the 70s, it's because that's where we were trading when we wrote the plan up. So on the upside in the S&P, we got a price point of 80, 82. Our first target is going to be 86 to 88. So everything is good. Nothing needs to be adjusted. On the downside, similarly, our first target is going to be down near, well, actually, we do need to make an adjustment there. First target's still going to be 59.61. That's our first target. But use 65 to 67 as our price point, okay? Just another price action. Oh, here's something else I wanted to talk about. Oh, shit, we don't have a lot of time. So we'll talk about it during the day. Stay out of your own way, right? So consistency. And it's not about the external stuff. It's not about the money. It's about me being the best version of myself that I can be, blue collar trader, all of these things. So very, very, very important. But it's also incredibly important to learn how to keep, you know, we're all emotional beings, right? I need to learn how to use my emotions. I can't shut my emotions out, but we all do need to learn how to let the market do the work, to keep things simple and to remove ourselves from the equation. Once that market protects me and I put in either my break even or my scratch stop just inside of the opening range, I pay for the trade. Now I put my offers in or my bids in to take profit and I'm done. There's nothing left for me to do. I'm long above the opening range. I'm short below it. I paid for my trade. My stop is in for a scratch or break even. And now I'm finished. It removes me and my emotions and my fears and everything else from the trading. All right. So with that said, everybody, as a reminder right now, just take some deep breaths in, put your feet on the ground, ground yourself, remind yourself who you are, remind yourself that you're safe and that you are in charge. You've got this. Nobody else is in control of your trading but you, and you have it. You've got the process, you've got the intellect, you've got the ability, and now you're going to make it happen. Put your blinders on and block out all of the noise, and let's get at it. Trade them up, guys. I'll see you in a minute.